Discover the best in local business news with a subscription to the IBJ and Inside Indiana Business. For a limited time, try us out for just $1 a week for 8 weeks. Claim this limited time offer now at ibj.com/trial offer.
This portion of the program is brought to you by myindiana529.com. Let's have a moment of honesty with each other. How many of us have said, yeah, we should really start saving for college, and then immediately got distracted by like literally everything? A notification on your phone seems more important. A snack, the soccer schedule change. Yeah, same. I get distracted. And that is why I'm a big fan of myindiana529.com, because it takes a giant, intimidating life goal and turns it into something you can knock out in the middle of the time it takes your kid to ask what's for dinner for the 5th time today. It's Indiana's official college savings plan. It's tax advantage. It's built for real families who are juggling work, school, sports, and the occasional existential crisis. You can start with just $10, which, let's be honest, is less than what you spent at the drive-thru yesterday. And Indiana gives you a 20% state tax credit on contributions, up to $1,500 in the tax credit, which is as close as you'll ever get to the state saying, hey, good job, pal. And the money, it's flexible. College, trade school, apprenticeships, grad school, basically any future your kid can dream up requiring a building, a teacher, and a certificate. So do yourself a favor. Take 5 minutes today and set it up. That's what I did 16 years ago, and like many other things I did 16 years ago, I don't regret this one. Your kid's future self will thank you, and your future self won't have to panic Google, how do I pay for college at 2 a.m. the week before your kid leaves for college? So go to myindiana529.com today, and let's get it going. Kristen, Dane. Kristen, let me bring you on the show. Kristen, hello.
Hello.
I've shared this with you before, but this happened to me again this week, and it is becoming a pattern, and I'm struggling a little bit. I need to walk you through it.
Okay.
Picture this.
I will.
I'm at the gym.
Okay.
Like 5:45 a.m. I'm not fully awake. I'm just on the treadmill, kind of just moving, getting my brain going. Are you with me so far?
I am. So like pre-workout has been drank. We're waiting for it to kick in.
Yes.
Got it. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're there. And again, this week, I don't know, an aspiring fitness influencer is getting her lift on off to the side. And it's to watch from afar it's unusual. It's peculiar. It's very strange to watch someone film themselves and fake one personality and then come out of that personality to go. And so I'm like watching like, like, what are you doing? Judgmentally, friend. I mean, I'm being honest. I'm like, what do we do? It's 5:45. You got painted on clothes like you fell into a vat of latex, and you're filming yourself. And so I'm like, what is going on? Then I realize I'm in the background of the shot.
I knew it. And the worst part of this is I have seen fitness influencers like zoom in on people in the background and like call them out for their behavior. And it's like, you're the one who's filming in public.
There's so much wrong with it. And if I may for a moment, and I know sometimes we have young listeners here, I can say this and people can believe me or they cannot believe me. I am not looking in a way of attraction, if you will, or like, I don't have my glasses on. It's 5:45 and I'm just like, what have we done? And that's the look on my face, that if the person does punch in on bald man in background, now I'm part of this thing and I didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah. My hot take is that you should not be able to film in gyms, like fitness spaces. I don't want to be in the background of your video. This is not your personal like Instagram studio. I'm out.
Sheesh. Good morning. And speaking of bad eyes, is that Dan or Don? Dan.
Dan.
Sheesh. Jen, hello. The Rev Renfro. Hola, Tam. Hola, Tam. Buenos dias, Quincy. And que pasa, Andy? I'm working on my Spanish. Dame's not here. He is on safari. Where is he?
Parking cars, I think.
Oh, yeah. It's that weekend.
Mm-hmm.
This is the weekend. Dame is a car nut, right? Is that what we call him? A car aficionado? Likes the cars?
Enthusiast, perhaps?
Yeah. And there's a big festival in his town, and he is part of that community and whatever organization. And people bring in their fancy cars, and he helps direct them to a parking lot. And occasionally people try to big time him, and then he pulls out the flashlight that's in his pocket during high noon. And anyway, that's this weekend. So that's why Dame's not here.
Yeah, this is, I mean, I don't want to speak for Damien, but probably his favorite weekend of the year, if I had to guess.
I would agree. Kristen, how is Margaret?
Kicking a lot. I mean, I think she's doing well. I haven't seen her in, I don't know, like a month.
What due date again? Is that a public thing? Do you talk about the due date? I don't know what to ask pregnant women, if I'm being honest with you.
I don't care. She's due on October 10th. So
okay,
6 weeks from today.
And you will be taking a couple weeks off from the show.
Indeed, I will be taking a couple of weeks off from this show. I'm actually off on September 19th as well. So when I'm not here, that doesn't mean that I had the baby. It's just that I'm in a wedding at 38 weeks pregnant. So,
oh my Lord. You know what? I'm not going to follow up with a comment based on the information you just shared. Good morning, Julie. All right, Kristen, this week's show is about home ownership and regret, moving in with someone. What is it? I haven't read it.
Oh, this episode's about a couple who moved in together with some kind of pre-established personal
521. Go ahead.
Finance dynamics that didn't maybe have discussions about those, and now Taylor is wondering if maybe they should have had some discussion about those things.
Okay, so just to be very clear, and we need to get out in front of this, despite what I may have made the AI image of the show about today. This is not about you.
No, this is not.
No, this is not about you.
No.
Okay, I'm just trying to stay in the clear here.
No, this emailer makes it seem like this was a more recent decision, and Tom and I have lived together for a minute now. So,
boy, someone's government name just made the show.
I know, it's weird. I don't even call him that in real life, but I don't know what else to call him on the show.
Your special friend.
That feels weird.
Okay. Oh, far be it for me to say something weird.
Fair. I usually just call him my baby daddy, but
look, again, I'm just gonna keep these lips pursed.
Okay.
All right. I feel like there was something I wanted to share with you, Chris, but I don't know what it is. So let's just do the show.
Okay.
All right. Gotta get ready. Someday, maybe by episode 600, I've figured out what to do, how to run the show.
Andy, she won't be on the show. Her little girl will not be on the internet. I
appreciate that. Maybe you could put like a full mask over the child, like a latex mask. Maybe there's latex left over from the gym outfits some of the gym goers wear at my gym.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or like just like a shopping bag or something. Yeah.
I mean, I think about these gym situations. I feel gross because it would appear as I'm watching that I'm like just this old creepy guy. Mm-hmm. I'm just a guy in disbelief. That's what I am. Rick Swink.
People, you'll know when people start tagging you in the video. Be like, Pete, isn't this you?
I got PTP'd in the locker room while I was drying off the other day, which was very awkward. Sorry for the image, everybody. Sorry.
I don't like being recognized. I don't like just out in public when I'm not expecting to see someone I know, even if it's someone I know well. I don't like to run into people unexpectedly. So I can't imagine how your life goes.
It's weird. 3, 2, 1. This week on the Pete the Planner Show, we answer your money questions. Here's how the show works. You email us, askpete@petetheplanner.com. That's Ask Pete. I'm going to spell it out for you now. Calm down. Get a pen. Get a paper. ASKPETE at petetheplanner.com. Joining me as always is Kristen Elanius. Hi, Kristen.
Hello, Pete.
Good to be with you. Damian Dunn is on location.
Not this location, but
he's not
yes.
here today. All right, big email for the show. It's going to be the entire show this week. Big email. Happy Labor Day weekend to all that celebrate. Does everyone celebrate Labor Day?
I think so. I don't know.
Okay. Here we go. Dear Pete, I'm a new listener. My best friend has been trying to get me into the show forever, and now I wish I'd started sooner because I recently made a move that I didn't realize could have had such a large financial impact on my life.
Time out.
Already?
Yeah, no, listen, we got a referral network here.
I love that.
Good morning, David. We've got a referral network here at the show where people are like, hey, you should listen to this show. I got an email or text, same thing to an old guy from a friend yesterday that said, actually, I'm going to read it to you. He referred someone to our show.
I love that.
And the person says, he sent me a screenshot of the conversation. He seems much more relatable than Susie Orman, which again, it's not a contest, but I think this is how the show grows. Anyway, back into the email. Here's the deal. I moved in with my partner last year who owns our house and has lived there for nearly 10 years. Our relationship isn't casual, and we're planning to elope soon.
Time out.
You're burning through them, but okay.
Here's the thing, Chris. I've been married for 25 years. I dated my wife for 4 years prior to that. So almost 30 years of off the market. Our relationship isn't casual. Can you help me? What does that mean? They don't wear khakis?
It's exactly what it means. I think it's pretty common for people my age, maybe even younger, to move in with someone, even if they're not totally sure that their relationship's going to end in marriage. I know lots of people that have lived with a significant other that then the relationship didn't progress.
Can we talk about that during the break and just like a moment of, I have questions, non-judgmental questions. I'm just not anyway, continuing on.
Okay.
And we're planning to elope soon. So I felt comfortable with the move at the time, but now I'm worried that we should have done a few things financially before I moved in. Here are more details that you might or might not want.
Time out.
Time out.
That's my favorite part of this whole email, because people don't know what to do about the fact that every episode, Damian and I complain that we don't have enough information, and you complain that the email takes too long to read.
Well, here's the funny thing about this as I look through the rest of the email, which I have not read yet.
Boy.
I don't see a single number. So they're talking about details. I don't see a single number. I need numbers, Queen. Here we go. There's a bit of an age gap between us, and while I earn more currently, they've had more working years to build savings and buy property. I don't own anything major, and we've never really combined finances or talked much about how to. I don't pay the mortgage or the bills that were already in their name, but I pitch in for everyday stuff like groceries or going out. But it's very casual.
Time out.
You're out.
I'm out of timeouts, but here's what I got in, like, is casual a thing? Like, I hear casual, and again, I'm like, it's a bad golf shirt and khakis, but the kids are talking cash these days, huh?
I think that's a really commonly used word.
Is it?
Yes.
I feel very old, Kristen.
Well, you know what they say about the shoe.
Honestly, we've just kind of floated along without a system. My question is, how do I make sure I'm being fair while also protecting myself? I know this isn't my house, and I want to be respectful of that, especially since they have kids to think about from a previous relationship. Sounds casual. But I also don't want to end up totally starting from scratch if things were ever to go sideways. I'm not looking to take anything that's not mine. I just want to understand how people usually handle these situations, or what some people call situationships. What should I be thinking about before we take the next step? Thanks for any insight you can give. New listener, old house, casual friend.
First of all, two things.
Mhm.
Way to bury the lead, emailer. We
Yeah.
wait till the very end to mention that there are children involved in this situation. And two, I just want to understand how people usually handle these situations. They don't. They don't send proactive emails. They wait until there's dissolution in a relationship, and then they come to financial experts and attorneys and ask us how to fix it. So at least you're being sort of proactive.
Yeah, I agree with that. Okay, so there's an awareness, maybe a self-awareness. We labeled the show, or I called the show something up. I just moved in. I think I regret it, or something like that, or I don't know what I called it. I don't necessarily sense regret, but I do sense trepidation here.
Agreed. I would agree with that totally. I think it's a question of, should I regret this? And I need an expert to tell me if I've done the wrong thing.
Okay, so maybe let's look at this as a spectrum of casual to married.
I'm so glad that you've added that to your vocabulary.
I'm going to a high school football game tonight where I'll be around a lot of youngs.
Mm-hmm.
And now I feel like, is everything, how are you doing, Mr. Dunt? Casual Tyler? Like, I don't know. That's the new thing.
That's not the context.
Okay. So anyway, casual to married. Can that be a spectrum?
I think it can be.
Okay. So, but now we enter cohabitation.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all,
yeah.
Sharing space. Kristen, I got to think, not on that entire spectrum. It doesn't mean you combine finances.
Not at all. It doesn't mean that you're building any sort of financial life together. But I think the thing is, in my work as a practitioner, I think people think that it does, or there's this idea that it does. It's like, well, we live together. Like our financial life is serious. And I'm thinking to myself, have we actually done any work when it comes to merging our personal finances, or maybe intentionally not merging them?
So can we use this show? I don't know what you've planned for this show, because that would require me to open the document, which seems like it would have made me sweat. Can we put together some ground rules of how to do this today?
Yeah, that was kind of what I had outlined in the second segment. So that's a great idea, Pete. I love that.
Man, I am good at this. But what won't work is not talking about this as a couple, whether you're casual and or betrothed.
100%. And the reason for that is because I shouldn't say no one, I guess there's exceptions to every rule, but people who are in serious or committed relationships aren't in those relationships thinking that they're going to end. I don't think people get married thinking they're going to get divorced. This couple is moving in together, not thinking that they might break up someday. But the reality is there's no better time to plan for those what ifs than when you're in such a good place. And you're never going to be more agreeable than in this, what might arguably be a honeymoon phase of your relationship and your personal financial health.
Here's another idea that occurs to me with this. The person mentions they make more money, right? Or the emailer. As somehow dollars equal votes, more dollars equals more votes or more power.
That's interesting because I didn't read it that way, but that's a really good point.
And so that's a little bit of a challenge here. It's a 50-50 discussion, even though the assets and income could be different. And we're going to talk about that next. So moved in together, what are the financial rules you can put in place so it doesn't end up less casual in the long run? I'm Pete the Planner, and this is the Pete the Planner Show. This portion of the program is brought to you by HerculeanMealPrep.com. Hey, we are almost to New Year's resolution season, which means you're going to tell yourself you care a lot more about your health and fitness in just a few weeks. Well, don't wait. Don't wait to care about your weight and your nutrition. Go to HerculeanMealPrep.com. That is where I get every lunch I eat. No, really, my freezer is filled with the likes of Mediterranean salmon, maple bacon ghost mac, braised beef, white cheddar truffle mac. And today I actually had chicken pot pie, and it blew my mind. It's nutritious, it is delicious, it's convenient, and the macros are on point. So go to HerculeanMealPrep.com. Tell them your boy Pete sent you. And if you're ever in one of the stores, just know I'm digging through the freezers with you. That's HerculeanMealPrep.com. Julie does bring up a good point here. I love that Pete names the show before taping it as the person who contributes the least to the show prep. Yeah.
Yeah, Damon and I love that too, Julie.
That's how it works around here.
Indeed.
Chris, I might be getting more organized here soon. We got some final rounds of interviews for.
Oh, because you're outsourcing it, not because you're improving your skills. Got it.
No, look, I'm living in my zone of genius, and I'm outsourcing maybe my blind spots. So we might have an executive assistant in these halls here soon.
Good deal. Know what you're good at. Know your weaknesses.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Okay, can we talk the casual thing real quick?
I suppose.
Okay, you said there are situations, I think this is what you said, and can I just ask for a lot of grace here from everyone?
Because you're old and have been married since you were a child, as you like to say.
Yes. Okay, so like I'm just being honest. I'm not poking. I just don't understand. I really don't. Okay. So you say there are situations in where it's just casual and people just choose to cohabitate together, even though it's not necessarily serious. Did I hear that right?
I don't know that it's about casual versus serious, but like there's levels of seriousness. Like I definitely know of people who've lived together who hadn't yet had conversations about getting married.
Okay, let's say that part again. You've known people who've lived together who have not necessarily discussed getting married. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. Like I don't think that means that it's not that their relationship couldn't get to that point, but it's like we haven't defined that level of seriousness.
But it's again, man, I feel like a real dummy, but I'm just being honest. So it's like I'm old. Like a test drive the relationship sort of thing.
Yeah. Are we compatible if we have to spend like an ungodly amount of time together?
Because if you try to do it like, oh, we went on vacation together for a week, it's an unnatural environment. There's clean towels, right? It's the clean towels.
It's exactly it. And no dishes. Yeah.
How common is this these days? People are getting married later, if they're getting married at all.
I think that I don't know how common it is, but I think it's a lot more socially acceptable to, like, to your point, let's make sure we can live together before we agree that we want to spend forever together.
Well, Mrs. Planner is still trying to come to that conclusion with me. But anyway, it's going all right. Let's go. Let's do this. Next segment, someone outlined here what you need to talk about. Oh, this is like the ground rule.
Yeah.
Huh. Whoever put this together, thank you. Did Dame do this?
Yep. Before he left, he thought, you know what? I'm not even going to be there to watch this fall apart, but let me help Kristen.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Back on the Pete the Planner show. Some call it Kristen and Co. Kristen Elenius joins me here now. Kristen, we got an email from, go figure, an emailer who just moved in with a partner. And they're trying to figure out the financial aspects of living together, given that the person's lived there for 10 years. It is that other person's house, but the emailer makes more money. Right? Did we land the plane there a bit?
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. Did you say there's children involved?
Well, the emailer sort of buried the lead and barely told us that children are involved. Yeah. Do the children live at the house?
We don't have any I would assume. I mean, I don't know.
Okay. So let's chat through some themes and some questions that the emailer can kind of sort through here. Okay. Can we start with the ownership of the house? Because if you're going to talk about fairness, the other party, the non-emailer, this person does not have access to email by law. I don't know. They own the home. So they feel that they've got to have, there's a lot of skin in the game. And do they not call the shots?
God, that's so hard though, because for most American households, your home is one of it is like the biggest asset. It's the biggest payment that you're going to have. So not only is it this person's largest bill, but it's also likely the largest item on their balance sheet. And how is that fair or equitable to either party for it to maintain being owned by the original cohabitant of the home?
Is there a scenario in which, again, you know these things, I do not. Is there a situation in which our emailer, if these people got married, they'd put the emailer on the house when they have to refinance to do that?
They would have to refinance to do that. I know. And the other thing about that too is I don't know that that's fair, because they weren't a contributor to whatever equity exists to this point. So like, do I get to come in and say, okay, like this is half my house now? Because it's not.
And then if you pay rent, then the other person substantially benefits. It's like a doubling of benefit of home ownership, and the other person remains in a position of weakness financially.
100%. They're not building equity. They're not seeing those improvements to their credit history. They are not being behaviorally forced to put that money to the side. So I would assume it would lead to, in my experience, it leads to less than desirable financial behavior, where it's like, hey, I have all this discretionary income because I'm not paying the largest expense that most households have.
I love that the conversations are really kind of happening in the margins here, because let's say they decide to be together forever and eventually are they considered a common law marriage, but they never actually get marriage. They never get married, like get milk, get marriage. They never get married. How does that change things? Because, in the comments here on our live stream, David's like, once you're married, it's 50-50. Well, if you're never married, is it still 50-50?
Well, and not only that, but I think that the blended family dynamic is a challenge. We don't know how many children exist from a previous relationship. We don't know what kind of support exists from the other parties involved with those children. Are grandparents really involved? Is the other parent really involved? Have we done a good job of saving for them? I think one of the biggest questions is what happens if then this couple has kids?
Oh.
It's really complicated. And that's why people avoid talking about it, is because there are so many opportunities for conflict along the way, because these are really, really loaded conversations.
I kind of wish we had not talked about it. My head is spinning. Like,
if not us, then who, Pete?
Oh boy. All right, well, you see that at a mall kiosk, like a candle.
Yeah, I frequent the mall.
Okay, so maybe this is your entire point, which I love to appropriate every single week on this show. But let's remove labels from all of it. Okay, so my wife and I happen to be married by the nature of me calling her my wife. Let's remove the label we have, and let's remove the casualness of these folks in this email. And let's just sort of take those two relationships on this spectrum of something. Mm-hmm. Right? Here's an example. The car my wife drives, which I consider to be my wife's car, is in my name because I'm the one who went to the dealership and bought it, but I don't think it's mine. I don't treat it as mine. My name's on it. We're both insured on it. But like, if we're removing labels of the relationship, isn't that kind of the same thing as this emailer's partner owning the home?
Yeah. And I was trying to think through examples or like opportunities to create equity as we go to try and keep things fair. And I was like, well, what if like future assets get titled in the other partner's name? But the reality is nothing is going to be equivalent to, in most cases, a primary residence. A car is a depreciating asset. That's not the same.
Aren't we saying on some level, what is being unsaid here is that, are we expecting these people to proceed as though this current relationship will end and they need to be in the best position for that? I mean, on some level, it's kind of what we're saying, is it not?
I'm just a practical gal, so kinda.
And I'm okay with that. Like, on a topic like this, I feel no need to get aligned. Like, and I don't even know if I believe my opinion. It's just my perspective. It's barely even an opinion. But is that the modern relationship? Is that if you do start to combine finances, you have to have an off ramp?
Gosh, that sounds so bleak. But
yeah.
As a practitioner, I want you to have an off ramp because the worst case scenario is you don't need it. Or the best case scenario is you don't need it. We never have to worry about this conversation again. We're together forever. But then the other reality that comes into play here that we haven't necessarily discussed is like estate planning in a blended family dynamic, because that's really challenging too. People are getting, you said this earlier, collectively we're getting married later and later. Your lives are more established. What does that look like from the perspective through the lens of estate planning for future generations? I think that exit ramp, so to speak, if that's what we want to call it, is kind of non-negotiable.
What part of this is a really pithy question. What part of this is chicken or egg? What part of this is, if you build it to separate it, it will separate. If you build it to not separate, it will not separate. Are we not leading the witness a bit?
Oh my gosh, your email inbox is on fire.
I don't check it.
There are going to be so many people so mad about that because I know people have really strong opinions about that. Like, well, I'm not planning for that because that's never going to happen. I totally understand that. But again, and maybe we're a little biased in our work as practitioners, but we literally see it all the time on both sides. Couples who planned for it, which is the exception, and couples who didn't, and then they have to deal with the aftermath.
All right, which gets us to the lawyers. It's always back to the lawyers. Sometimes I feel like just in saying that word, like Beetlejuice, an invoice is going to appear in my inbox. But I'll say this. Is this where prenups and cohabitation agreements get involved?
Yeah, I think that in this situation before they elope, and it has to be before you elope if that's the plan, because you can say that you'll do it after the fact. A post-nuptial agreement, I think, is an actual thing. You can say that you'll set something up after the fact, but you won't. Life gets in the way. Your life is busy, the kids, all the things you have to worry about, you won't do it. This has to be done before you elope.
If you're listening to the show on the radio, you want to subscribe to the podcast because you get to hear what we talk about during the breaks. And Kristen, during the break, you got to help me understand eloping too. Old man understanding relationships. That's what it is this week on the show. Coming up after the break, Chris and I will tell you what we think good looks like in this situation. All that's next on the Pete the Planner Show. I'm Pete the Planner. So this is the fun of the show. I didn't read the outline too much, and I just looked down and saw the line, what good looks like, and then just blended it into the outro, and I feel good about that.
Great.
Kristen, can I ask eloping questions?
I am only elope adjacent, but I can try.
I can't elope.
There's a really bad dad joke.
That was really bad. Okay. Yeah, you know what? David is so right. So sad Dame isn't here this week with this topic. I feel like he would be getting sassy.
Indeed, yes.
I mean, I'm holding back. So, okay. Why do people elope?
I think people elope because the wedding industry is out of control.
Okay. So, am I hearing cost saving?
I would say cost, but I think there's also a family dynamic associated with that. Like there's a reason why my special person and I will not ever have a big wedding. And I'm just not interested in the argument, the family dynamic, who you have to invite, who you don't, the like familial politics of it, so to speak. And I think a lot of people feel that way.
Just to be clear, I'm not skeptical of eloping at all. I just want to understand the thinking. So that makes a lot of sense. Like avoid the whole wedding planning thing that dominates months and months of your life.
Right.
Including the money. And families are complicated.
Right.
And big events can add to the complication. Here's a good one. Eric says in the comments here, I eloped. Would it be we eloped? I don't know.
Poor Eric. I'm sorry, Eric.
Eric, I mean, come on, man. Get your pronoun. We got married on the rooftop of the courthouse in Seattle. Hope you had umbrellas. With the view of the Puget Sound. We let immediate family know, and some came. Yeah, I mean, that sounds great. Do you think, again, with this idea that people, hello, Jason, with people getting married later, that's where eloping makes more sense now? I mean, because if you're like Mrs. Planner and I almost said her government name. Mrs. Planner and I got married when we were 22. Not a lot of eloping at 22 for recent college grads, I don't believe.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I definitely think it's a little bit later. And to your point, I also find, I think this is anecdotally true. I'm trying to think through people I know, is like when you're more like, your relationship is already more like a marriage. Like my sister eloped, they lived together. They've lived together for years. They were engaged for like almost 2 years or something dumb before they eloped, like, and they hadn't planned anything. So they just went and eloped so that they didn't have to worry about it. I think that's more common, is like the wedding is just a day to us. We're already living a life that feels very married. So like, why not just like go to the courthouse?
I do like this kind of do what works for you idea here.
Indeed. Because
for a very long time, and I was arguably on the back end of that, there was just a way to do it. You do it, this is what you do. It has worked for me, but that doesn't mean works for everybody. But I think in many respects, I won't even go with the traditions. I'll say more of just like normal's not normal anymore, right? It's there is no normal. You do whatever works.
I'm kind of surprised another person in our audience eloped.
Okay, everyone who's eloped.
All two of you.
Yeah. A lot of eloped. I don't like the word.
Yeah, the word is kind of interesting.
I see elote, like the Mexican street corn, and I get
and then you get disappointed. Yeah.
Speaking of, for Herculean lunch today, I do have sweet corn chicken, which is like a street. Anyway, Eric's part of the elope crew. Tom's part of the, wonder if Eric and Tom eloped. Like I said, whatever works. That's not your Tom, right? Because that'd be weird if he said my wife and I.
Yeah. Surprise.
Surprise. On a very special Pete the Planner show. God, I do not have the mental strength for that right now.
What?
Like a wild show where we surprised you with Tom and his wife. Like that would be
No.
It's really dark.
That's fair.
What?
Okay.
What?
Let's just do this.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. Back on the Pete the Planner show, talking how people. Kristen, let me see if I get this straight. Person emails.
Okay.
They're moving in with their person, and they're not married. The person they moved in with has kids. The person they moved in with has owned the home for 10 years, but the person who's moving in makes more money, and it's just messy. It's just messy. And so we've kind of talked through some rules, some standards, some ideas. Now, let's tell them exactly what to do.
Seems kind of aggressive for our show.
Well, no one wants to listen to a radio show or a podcast where people are like, well, it really depends.
Don't we regularly do that?
You do.
Okay.
Oh, I'm just kidding. Kind of. All right. So,
Ouch.
I'm kidding. That's the inside baseball. Here we go. That's why talk radio and podcasts get such hot takes, is because no one is willing to say it depends, when literally every time it depends.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's set up success for these folks, Kristen.
Okay.
You are a practitioner
Indeed.
of wellness monies. What's the first thing they do?
They schedule the appointment to start the prenup process as a base layer of accountability. We're putting this on the calendar. We're doing the research. That doesn't mean you have to get a prenup. You just need to fully understand the benefits or the pros and cons of having a prenup before you elope. You set the appointment now for the accountability.
Okay. Can I blow that out a little bit and sort of talk through it?
Maybe.
Okay. What's wrong?
I'm afraid you're going to tell me that I'm wrong. And
well, first of all, I would never tell you you're wrong. I might tell you I disagree with you, but I don't think I do. I just want to kind of talk about what this means. All right. So this couple has moved in together. They plan on eloping. Did they say they're definitely eloping, or do they say they've talked about eloping? Where did they go?
I think it says that's the plan. Yeah, planning to elope soon.
Okay, cool. Okay, so far I like where you're going. But we're also saying we're not going to spend a lot of money on a wedding because we're eloping, but we're going to spend a few $100s on an attorney at the very least to make sure that we have a feasible financial path, right? That's what you're saying.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
I kind of don't hate it. I kind of don't hate it, right? Because if they don't do that, the risk of things getting dumb is pretty high.
It is, especially because it sounds like to this point, they've not had a lot of money conversations. And even if this meeting with the attorney kind of forces your hand to have a lot of those conversations, maybe you ultimately come to the decision that the prenup isn't the thing that you need. Maybe you can accomplish your joint goals with, specific titling for assets or some other contractual agreement for specific accounts or a co-parenting relationship that you have set up. There's other ways to accomplish your goals, but that accountability likely forces those conversations. And I think at this point, you kind of need it.
You go through the risk reward pros and cons T-chart of this all. If you go and spend $1,000 on a prenup or whatever, I don't know. That is the worst part of the prenup. And if you don't get the prenup, you save $1,000, but then a lot can get messy super quick. And so I don't hit people with no-brainers. It's not my vibe, but I'll say it seems rather simple.
I think it does too. I know there's going to be people who disagree, but that's what I would suggest.
You have add partner to the title of the home. Is it that easy? Don't you have to refinance if you add someone to the title?
So we don't know what the ownership is in this home. Maybe this person owns the home outright. What if the ex-spouse is on the title of the home? There's so many variables that could be true here. It's probably not as easy as just fixing the title, so to speak. But you also need to understand what your titling options are, what equity you may or may not be subject to. Maybe there's a payout agreement of hey, the partner who's moving in contributes X percent. And if this relationship is dissolved, they get X percent back out in the form of equity. I certainly think there could be some fancy legal contracts that could be drawn up that are independent of the titling of the home.
Which brings us to, if the situation gets more complicated with an additional human derived from their DNA. What if they have a kid? What do we do?
Yeah, I think that's where I think they need to have that conversation now, whether planning for children is in their future or not. They need to talk about what if they would have children, because we don't know what amount of savings has or hasn't been done for the other two children. Maybe their other parent, their biological parent, has saved really aggressively for like college or something. Okay, how does that make it fair for the children that they might have together? Maybe the inverse is true. The emailer made it a point to say that they earn more. So would they feel like the savings for their biological child should be prioritized over their stepchildren should they get married? I think they need to have those conversations before as well.
Maybe a loaded question, maybe not. When did this get so complicated? Because I got to be honest, 30 years ago, this didn't feel like a thing. I mean, maybe it was, but the situation you've just painted, and we've been talking about this entire episode, you kind of see it all the time. But what's happening? Because this is complicated. There's so much that can go so wrong.
It's very complicated, and I don't necessarily think that it's more complicated now than it has been historically. I just think that we have a greater level of awareness of how things can and can't go awry. I also, in this situation in particular, someone having bought a home 10 years ago at what arguably was maybe the rock bottom of real estate prices has had a totally different type of exposure to asset accumulation than the emailer has. So I think it's like the timing of different phases of personal finance is probably part of this as well.
I know you and I are in the personal financial advice business, but this is where, like, this entire topic is where personal finance advice can get real stupid. It can get like real gaslighty. It can be like, it's not that hard. It's like, no, I mean, actually, I'm pretty sure it's
very hard.
This is crazy hard. And that's why it requires incredibly uncomfortable conversations. It requires a spend on formality around legal documents. It involves a blended family discussion, potentially even with the ex-spouse of the person who owns the home, because there's going to be some co-parenting. There's another thing you mentioned here in our pre-meeting for the show, which goes on for hours, just on and on and on. A family financial vision statement. What is that?
Well, I think just establishing a baseline of like, what are our non-negotiables for us as a couple, for the children that we're likely raising together, and our like long-term financial goals is like, let's just make sure we're on the same page first before we start to overly complicate these things, because we might actually find that we're not that compatible when we start really digging into our personal finances. And I think maybe that's where some of the trepidation from this emailer is coming into play, is like, if I open this can of worms, am I going to regret it?
It makes me feel like financial therapy and financial counseling as an industry should be going through a boom movement based on how frequent situations like this are. But Kristen, what I also know, and why this conversation today has been interesting, is because I don't think people pay close enough attention to how difficult this really is. And so they're asleep at the wheel and it just gets worse.
That's exactly it. It's a back burner item until it's forced to the front burner, and then it's really a challenge to deal with.
Let's take a breath. Everyone calm down. We're going to take a break. And coming up after that break, we've got the biggest waste of money of the week and the news right here on the Pete the Planner Show. Yeah, I mean, complicated stuff.
It's really complicated.
You know where I've actually seen this play out with people my age, and here's where it gets to. I'm thinking, no names. You think when the kids get older, you know, somehow the kids in the same house going to different schools, like because one's still partially funded from a different relationship. They end up at different schools, and they might even be the same age.
Right. And,
yeah.
Well, and I think that's where that like vision statement that we kind of mentioned is so important, because what if the children from the previous relationship are set up to have some of those things? What are we capable of doing in this relationship for any potential future kids? And how might that look inequitable for children living under the same roof?
Yeah, I mean, to get even more specific about that, let's say the children from the reverse relationship, the person who's no longer involved in that household has the means to provide this massive, amazing college education, and the children derived from the current household has a lesser experience, yet all those kids live together. Like, that's non-marginal. Like, that's a thing.
Yeah. Thank God for Parent Plus loans, you know?
Just took an ugly turn.
But for real, that's where I can't imagine that's not an insignificant part of the Parent Plus loan borrowing equation, is trying to establish some level of what feels like fairness or equity in blended families when it comes to college savings.
I am not tooting our own horn, because this is not exactly what we do at Your Money Line, although your team talks to people about this stuff. But this is why financial counseling and therapy is a booming industry if people take them up on it.
100%. It's because no one taught us how to do this, and now societally we're playing catch up.
Great. What's happening here? In the event I don't know what's happening. In the event my earlier comment was too harsh, I don't know what it was. I'm here intentionally, but I don't appreciate being in someone's monetized videos when I'm out in the world eating lunch, for example. I know what that means. Did I just put it on the screen? Jen, it's all good. Nothing's too harsh on this show.
Jen doesn't want to be in influencers' videos, and I think that's fair, Jen.
That.
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh, the open. Yeah, I'm with you. Jason says he was only half listening. Same. Oh, sorry, Chris. My takeaway from this conversation is that I should get a Parent Plus loan.
Ding, ding, ding.
And Kristen is an influencer. I had this college. Did I talk about the college kid last week that came and did a podcast with me? I feel like I talked about it briefly. I think I did. The kid that was like, how I get CEOs to sit down in conversations with me. Did I talk to you about this guy?
I don't think on the show you've mentioned this.
Oh, okay. Well, I just did. Anyway, yeah, nice young man from local university came and started a podcast and interviewing CEOs and stuff. And it's really interesting. It's sort of the current version of ambition of like, hey, I'm a high school or a college senior. Let's go talk to people. And just under the guise of a podcast, I don't mean that negatively, and people will say yes. And it's really interesting. He came in last week and chatted with them, and I was like, man, this kid might go somewhere.
How much time did you give him?
I gave him an hour.
Generous.
I mean,
hey, you barely give all of us an hour.
Oh, come on. We're going to get going here.
Sorry, Jeremiah.
I would also say whatever version of that existed when I was in college, or at least the first couple years of my career, I totally asked other people for their time in that regard. So you kind of like,
yeah, got to give it back.
You got to give it back, because I was totally like, can I pick your brain over coffee? There's a new restaurant called Starbucks that we could meet at.
New?
It was in 2000.
Hey.
How old were you?
6.
Okay. Are you ready do you have the news ready?
I mean, if I didn't, I don't know what you'd do.
I don't know. I could figure it out.
Shout out to Dame. He actually did prep the news. I just read it.
Sure. And Dame, thanks for doing the outline this week. In 3, 2, 1. This week's biggest waste of money of the week, right here on the Pete the Planner Show, is the Aroma 360, the Monet flowers. Picture preserved roses tucked into a sleek round diffuser that lasts up to 5 years while scenting your space. The Monet marries romantic design with cold air fragrance delivery, capable of filling up to 500 square feet with clean, chemical-free aroma via proprietary ProPod oils. Running wirelessly on battery-powered, arrives in luxe black or white packaging with metallic detailing. Kristen.
Yes.
This is a Glade plugin. This is a poopery. What is the list price?
There is no chance that something that can give off scent for 5 years is chemical free.
Dead possum.
Ugh. No, not even that.
Yeah, it would decompose.
Okay. I actually at one point knew how much these cost because I've seen these before, but I don't remember. Let's go $300.
Oh, I'm sorry. $299.95.
You're so full of it.
That's exactly what it costs. And Kristen, what's in the news that you lose? What's in the news this week?
I think that's worse than some of my really bad guesses.
What you missed badly. What's in the news this week?
Well, seniors are likely to outlive their retirement savings in 41 states. According to a new analysis, Americans fear outliving their money as much as any other potential retirement setback, including failing health. Another recent survey from Allianz Life suggests we fear running out of money more than death itself. Here's what the analysis found. On average, the American retiree can expect about $762,000 in income from Social Security and other benefits. The typical retiree can expect living expenses of about $877,000 in retirement, leaving the average American with a shortfall of about $115,000. But I have a guessing game for you. Did you see this article? It came out this morning.
No, I was in the gym getting a pump.
Good, and being tagged in an influencer's video.
Yes.
So there are 10 states where seniors are actually likely to outlive their savings. Do you want to try and guess any of the 10?
Yes.
Okay. What you got?
10 states in which someone can outlive their savings. Okay, this is tricky. I'm going to go Missouri.
No.
Okay. Montana.
No, you're in actually the wrong headspace. This is exactly why I thought this article was so interesting.
Okay, give me two more guesses.
Okay.
North Carolina.
No.
Oh boy, the last one here.
I told you.
New York.
There it is.
Okay, I see. I thought it's the complete opposite of what I thought.
It's the complete opposite of what I thought. That's why I found the article so interesting. The average senior can expect about 1.1 million in expenses and 670,000 in income over a retirement lifespan. With wait a minute, likely to outlive their savings. That's not. You and I were thinking about it through the wrong lens. Wait, no. It's New York, but the projected shortfall is $448,000.
Good story, Chris.
Well, you'll have that. Do you want to guess any of the other states?
Of which people struggle?
Yeah.
Okay. So I thought of it the wrong way. You thought of it the wrong way. We're in the same boat. Connecticut.
Mm-hmm. Now you're on it.
Yeah. I'm dialed.
Vermont, Massachusetts, California, Hawaii. Yeah.
Okay.
So no surprise there.
Yeah. Okay.
You're going to ask me what else is in the news?
Kristen, what else is in the news?
If it feels like you're seeing gambling ads every 10 seconds during sports, you're wrong, but you're not that far off. A recent study from the University of Bristol shows it was actually every 13 seconds during this year's Stanley Cup Finals. The most frequent messaging was found on visual displays like rinkside boards, with commercials contributing less of the frequency. Researchers analyzed this year's 6 Cup Finals matches and 7 NBA Finals games and found that viewers were subjected to 6,282 instances of gambling-related marketing across 13 games.
That is fascinating. How do you
so much?
How do you react? I mean, if it's a dumb question, which is what I'm known for, how do you react when you encounter gambling advertisement on some programming or content that you're trying to consume, and it gets itself involved? How do you deal with that?
Candidly?
Yeah. You go ahead and put a parlay in?
No, not me.
Oh, okay.
But the thing that I think is whoever the celebrity that's endorsed it is a sellout.
Okay. Well, look, I actually kind of agree with that take. Mine, I'm numb to it now. It doesn't
really.
I'm numb to, well, it doesn't move me to action is maybe the thing. So let's say there's a bourbon commercial on TV and they pour a glass of bourbon and you see it filling up and I go, boy, I bet that tastes good.
Buffalo Trace.
Sure. You see a DraftKings pop up and like, you could win a blah, blah, blah. At no point does my brain start to want to release dopamine by going, oh, I could be me.
See, I think you're in the minority, though. I think that that's why the advertisements are so frequent. I think it's because they work. Isn't my stock pick up like a lot of money?
You think I should go out in the main space here of our colleagues and say, all right, who sports gambles? I don't think anyone would admit it to me. That's
no one would admit that to you, no.
Yeah, every once in a while it'll slip out from someone. I mean, what am I going to do other than just judge them for the rest of their lives? What else is in the news?
ETFs officially outnumber individual stocks in the US. Bloomberg reports that there are about 4,300 ETFs on the market compared to 4,200 stocks, with a record 640 ETFs having launched this year, roughly 4 a day, with June alone seeing 108 new debuts.
Yeah. So here's a dumb thing I think I remember. When I was first in the financial business, and I think this could be completely wrong, I feel like there were 17,000 mutual funds in the early 2000s. I feel like that was the number.
Okay.
What did you just say just launched so far this year?
640 ETFs launched this year, 4 a day.
Wow. In general, it's a diversified investment that's going to spread out risk in theory, but now they're so specialized, they kind of use leverage to increase risk as opposed to diversifying risk. Like that's the twist of this. Just because it's a pool of equities or assets doesn't mean it's not hyper leveraged, you know?
Yeah, that's exactly. The rest of the Bloomberg article goes on to say, but with single stock leveraged and even social sentiment ETFs crowding the field, experts warn investors they still need to do their homework.
I feel like I saw a story last week that Robinhood is going to start doing basically sports betting. Like it's going to do college football, like predictions on there that in trends that people can bet on. I'm like, well, that seems bad.
We haven't talked about them in a minute. And I wish that were still true because that's not good news.
Now, the second that actual gambling gets equated and confused and conflated, just everything, any word I can come up with there, with investing, that becomes a problem because there is a portion of the population that are undereducated on investments that go, that's just gambling. Well, it's not actually gambling. It's very different from gambling. And just because you might gamble and then call investing gambling, well, unfortunately, you're wrong. And that is a problem. And if the financial companies start trying to confuse the two issues, then everyone loses. And that is the concern there. Man, this entire episode, I've shown my age.
What an uplifting end to this week's episode.
Oh, boy. Well, here's the thing, y'all. You get a 3-day weekend to think about it. We'll be back next week. September starts a new era here on the Pete the Planner Show. I'm not sure it does. Anyway, Dame might be back. Kristen will possibly be here, and so will I. Sending you good vibes. Good vibes are all that's in the budget. I'm Pete the Planner. This was the show. September. Do you remember? All right. I got things to do.
Indeed.
Shooting a new video series today. You want to hear about it? I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about it, but might as well.
Yeah, sure.
I would get in trouble. Sometimes I get a talking to when I walk out of here. We're calling it AI versus the money guy. We're getting scenarios. AI is going to give an answer. I'm going to give an answer, and then we're going to figure out who's the better answer.
Oh, very interesting. Who's the judge?
Me.
Oh.
But I will say this.
Feels fair.
We also want people to comment on who they think gave the better answer. Okay. And I'm going to try to be honest to say, okay, they got me on that one. Or, no, I think they're wrong and this is why. So we'll see what happens.
Okay.
Oh, boy. Okay. Well, that's just the thing. Hey, everybody. Good luck with your lives and stay getting money.
Whether it's healthcare innovation, major infrastructure, or global sports impact, Inside Indiana Business with Gary Dick tells the stories of Indiana's groundbreakers and game changers. It's the must-listen show for business, civic, and community leaders across the state. Subscribe and listen wherever you get your podcasts or at ibjpodcast.com.
Your commute just got smarter. Turn drive time into growth time. The IBJ Media Podcast Network gives you front row access to leaders shaping Indiana's economy, culture, and future. No filler, just smart, relevant local storytelling you won't get anywhere else. Find all of our shows by searching IBJ Media in your podcast app or visit ibjpodcasts.com.